Indiana, and college basketball.
And history is about to occur.
There's just something different about the game here in Hoosier Stadium.
Very true. And if all goes as planned, Indianapolis, for the 8th time in history, will host college basketball's biggest weekend. The pandemic will no doubt change the look and feel of the championship. It has already altered the college basketball season. The road to the 2021 NCAA Men's Final Four will end in Indianapolis next April, but it begins this coming week with a delayed official start of practice that will lead to a delayed official start of the season next month. Bill Benner has details inside Indiana sports. Bill?
Gary, thanks. And as with everything else in our pandemic-impacted world, college basketball has had to alter its calendar with the start of practice delayed till October 14th, and the start of the season moved until Wednesday, November 25th. Joining us today to look ahead at what hopefully will be is the NCAA Senior Vice President of Basketball, Dan Gavitt. And Dan, welcome to the program, and thanks for making time to join us.
Bill, great to be with you, my friend.
It's, again, this has been so many variables and things going into all this, but it has to be exciting for the NCAA staff to know that even on a slightly delayed basis and with a slightly altered maximum minimum number of games, the college basketball practice begins and we can look forward to the start of the season.
Very much so, Bill. You know, after a long summer for all of us of uncertainty and anxiety, to know that we have a date for the start of the season, Wednesday, November 25, the day before Thanksgiving, and starting practice next Wednesday, the 14th of October, is very encouraging and optimistic. And I think it's lifted everybody around the game of college basketball to have a season, different as it may be, but we're very hopeful and excited about the possibilities.
And November 25th, not an arbitrary date, determined to coincide with the exit of students from campus for what will be the start of their breaks.
It was, and that was really the biggest key in the decision to move the season back by 15 days from November 10 to November 25. By that date, 3/4 of Division I schools across the country will have either completed their first semester in total, including exams, or at least sent the general student body home to finish classes virtually and to have exams online. So it creates a much less populated campus environment, much more controlled environment to start the season safely across the country.
Dan, again, you're going to have 27 maximum regular season games, 13 minimum regular season games, and I think it has to have a minimum of 4 non-conference games, so you can kind of get some measure of teams, how they measure up not only within their own leagues, but certainly how they measure up with the college basketball field at large.
That's right, Bill. So the reduction of 4 games coincided with a 2 weeks delay. So 4 less play dates, 4 less games. And then the minimum number of contests was put in because understanding that there may be significant disruption on campuses with schedules and or just even the financial challenge of the testing that's required to play a safe and responsible basketball season. It may be that some conferences, like the Ivy League, for example, that may not start until after January 1st, only plays conference games and only plays a reduced schedule. But the basketball committee thought it was important to put a guideline out there, at least, to encourage 4 non-conference games against Division I opponents to help with the seeding selection process for the tournament and really for the benefit overall of the season. You know, we've got the Crossroads Classic here in Indianapolis, which is great. Rivalries locally and interconference play, and that kind of thing was being encouraged by the 4 Division I non-conference games.
And of course, the charm of the NCAA tournament is the diversity among its membership, private, public, large, small, everything in between. But this was a consensus decision coming out of the basketball committee, the Division I council. I mean, people got together on this and said, this is the road we need to take.
Yeah, very much so. It's a great point. I mean, we got 350 plus Division I teams that play college basketball. You know, it's hard to get majority opinion on anything, and in this uncertain time, getting to a consensus that was in the best interest for all, not perfect for anyone particularly, but kind of a grand compromise of sorts. Some thought that we should leave the start of the season on November 10th. Others thought maybe we should move the start of the season all the way back to January. But where we ended, I think, was the best consensus position. And we worked, really weeks even over the course of the entire summer, learning from what was going on with college football and the NBA and WNBA, and got to a point, I think, that we were comfortable with a lot of different things in place to start the season successfully in late November. Fundamental to all that really is testing and having testing be more widely available so that teams will test a minimum of 3 times per week to make sure that when we take the court, that student athletes and coaches are safe and healthy and we can have great games.
Dan, just got about a minute left. Of course, we mentioned in the open that the Final Four will be back in Indianapolis next April if everything goes as scheduled. And I think a certain amount of comfort level with the fact that, ironically, it will be in Indianapolis, home of the NCAA headquarters.
Without a doubt, this is our home, as everyone knows, for NCAA headquarters, and it's the place where we've had so many successful Final Fours in great collaboration with the Indiana Sports Corporation and IUPUI and the Horizon League and all the great partners at Lucas Oil Stadium and Bankers Life, you name it. This is probably the most comfortable of all the places we hold the Final Four, certainly the most experience we've had. So it's really fortunate that we're having the Final Four this year for our staff and planning. We've been working on it for years, of course, but more specifically since June with monthly meetings. And, we're considering having to make some adjustments as necessary, but we're really excited to be having the Final Four here in Indianapolis, which will be a celebration, I think, of sorts for the game of college basketball after last year's disappointment of canceling the tournament.
And we should also point out that Fort Wayne will host the Division III NCAA Championship, and Evansville will host the Division II. Dan, we really appreciate you coming on the show, and we certainly look forward to the ball being tipped off in November 25th, and we'll see, hopefully, everybody in April at Lucas Oil Stadium. Dan, thanks for being on with us.
Thanks, Bill. Have a great day.
Okay, you too, my friend. Gary, back to you.
All right, Bill.